All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk with Maggie and Lucy. I'm Maggie, and together with Lucy, we believe the older women should teach the young. We are two older women who married young, and that's what we promote. So, young ladies, if you are interested in marriage and family in your prime, twice a week we come here and we give you our take from our combined 40 years of marriage experience. So I'm Lucy. I'm sorry, I'm not Lucy. I'm Maggie, Maggie, the substitute teacher. Lucy, please let us know, what are we reacting to today?
Hi, Maggie. Hi, everyone. Yes, I found this. Usually, my feed on my YouTube sends the algorithm sends me things about items or topics that I've been looking at. So somehow it found this priest that is reacting to TikTok, modern women. So again, I saw the first reaction and I said, this one looks like we could react to. So I don't know what's after. So it looks like it's interesting. Hopefully it'll be a good one.
It's always a good one. And I say, there's always a lesson in everything, good, bad, and ugly, and we can learn what to do and what not to do. So come on in, everybody. This is an 8-minute video. Like Lucy said, it's Priest Reacts to Insane Feminist TikToks. Your two disclaimers: Lucy and I come from traditional backgrounds, and that is what we promote. If you want to do your own thing, that's totally fine. You may not be happy here, but we just want to reach those young women that still prioritize marriage and family. If you want to watch the video without our commentary, I have linked it in the description in YouTube and Facebook. And so we're going to play, and then we're going to pause, and we're going to give you our take. So we see Discipled One is here. Thank you so much. We see you all coming in on TikTok: Abia, Sarah, Andrew, Takia, and Black Arthur. So let's go ahead and see what we can learn tonight.
Of me watching videos on feminism to strengthen the feminism that is already in my body and make it the strongest form that it can possibly be. So we start out with our first one.
Okay, but hear me out. Wouldn't it be crazy if men were meant to submit to women and women were meant to protect and provide, which is why we're so good at it, but the patriarchy's convinced us that we need men to do that so they feel needed and we feel powerless? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Wouldn't it be crazy if someone broke into my house and I hid underneath the bed and told my wife to go and protect me? Wouldn't that be crazy? Because I don't embrace the patriarchy. So I would send her out to fight off the robbers while I hid in the bedroom. Wouldn't that be crazy? Just like this has always been done in every ancient civilization, where men sent women off to war to protect them from their neighboring nations and invaders. Wouldn't that be crazy?
That was hilarious. First of all, the editing, I love that. We're able to see his expressions and be amused. But as always, a couple things stood out to me, and I thought how ridiculous she looks, sitting in the comfort of her home with her face all done up and, climate control and her hair pulled back and looking like she hasn't lifted a finger or done anything stressful in a very long time, if ever. Nothing is wrong with that, ladies. But what I'm saying is, oftentimes we speak out of our neck and we have no idea what we're talking about. Ask yourself, if you were in an emergency and you called 911, that beautiful blonde that was there, is that who you would want to come rescue you from any danger? And I think the danger, if you will, of these modern times, and like my man says, we are all modern women. We're living in modern times, but some of us choose traditional values and some of us choose modern values. So ladies, it's always your choice. What do you want to do? But my concern is, we have all these conveniences and the lights and all these things that make us think that we don't have a way that we were designed, whatever you believe, a way that we are hardwired. And I think saying that, I don't believe that she means it. Maybe it's just content for her, but to me, it's not funny. And one of the things I love about this video, so we're reacting to the priest, we've reacted to the rabbi. We talk about things that have lasted, you hear me say, for hundreds and for thousands of years. Pick any culture, pick any book. Ladies, don't get so caught up in the comfort of this modern world that you forget that all this stuff could be gone just like that. And do you really want to be the one to provide and have your husband stay at home? And maybe that's what you want. But I just, I think the feminist in this case, I don't think she's really willing to do what she's saying. Wouldn't it be nice if it was? What would you say, Lucy?
She's saying it because it's safe. It's safe to say those crazy things. I can tell you that if she was put in the middle of either Ukraine, Afghanistan, Russia, anywhere where there's conflict, I guarantee you that she would act like she's a damsel in distress. And it's funny because last night we were watching a movie, and my husband is just, sometimes he watches what I want to watch. And I could see him sometimes rolling his eyes and just making fun of things. And there's this scene where a guy is knocking on the door, and the woman is coming down, and I think he was fixing himself something like, I think it was dessert. He like scoffs, he like smiles like that. And he's like, the woman is going to protect the man. That is funny. And then of course that cracked me up. So again, it's one of those things that because she hasn't been exposed to real danger, she thinks that she can be the Wonder Woman that she sees in the movies, that she's going to be able to act like, the movie Kill Bill, where she's killing, she's doing with the katana sword, all the men, a woman acting like a man. It's not going to happen. I mean, if she can do it, that's great. But I doubt that she would be able to defend, her family the way that a man would.
Such a great point. I'd love to know what you all say in the chat. The condemned is coming in saying, what is this madness? But Lucy brings up a great point. I mentioned how she was in a world of comfort. Notice that she is in a first world country. If you don't believe me, travel to any developing country. You will see that people are very clear what men are good at and what women are good at. And we embrace our differences. I always tell you, ladies, we are not the same. We are not equal. We are equally valued. But you don't find this in countries where there's real and present danger. They don't have the time to come up with these ridiculous concepts and whimsical thoughts because people are really trying to survive. And over here, we're so comfortable living just like everything's going to be okay. And then secondly, she's young or relatively young. You don't find many older women who are telling you, oh, yes, you go ahead and be the breadwinner and let that man sit back and you provide for him. So again, you can listen to, women with real lived experience, or you can take the long way around the mountain. Either way is fine. Bert says, send her back. All right, we're tossing this one back and we're going to go into the next reaction. Oh, Discipled One says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Shout out to Mike Tyson. It's a little graphic, but it's true. All right, let's go back in and see what the next one is.
I believe that I needed to be someone to actually be someone.
So we got a pretty strange video. I mean, aside from the straightened beard, the interlaced legs on the bathroom floor. You know what I mean? Like you went in there and you set up the camera and made sure, honey, are we in frame? And let's get this right angle, and then make a real sad and sappy face and pretend like you're on the verge of tears because your masculinity has been so bad to me all these years. I mean, come on, this is pathetic. This isn't a real marriage. A real marriage is based on love and trust and apologies that are very sincere and real.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
It's not about creating content to put on Instagram where you humiliate one of the partners in the relationship. This is maybe for both of them narcissistic behavior where they both need the internet's validation for having a dysfunctional relationship. I'm sorry, but this is not the way to behave. Next one.
I'm gonna
OMG. I don't know if you all saw that. Let me see if I can go back to what it says. You and your husband have been working through his toxic masculinity for the last 5 years, and he finally gets it. I'm just out. I'm just at a loss for words, which is rare. So a couple things. I hope, like the priest says, that this is just for content, because there's so much wrong with this. We'll get to the actual topic at hand if it's real. But number one, ladies, especially in marriages, we have talked at length about keeping your privacy private, protecting your husband. When you all are having a moment or a conversation or a disagreement or whatever, it is never, not ever, for public consumption. So if this is even true, why do we need to know? This is not for anybody to see, assuming it's true. This whole toxic masculinity, ladies, that goes out the window, like Lucy said, when there's a real and present danger. You want the strongest, most masculine man when it benefits you. And for this man, if it's true, to be basically crying in front of his wife because he was born a man and he's masculine and he's been leaning into his masculinity, I don't know. Why did you marry him? That's what I would ask her. Like, if he's so toxic, why did you marry him? And you've been suffering like this for 5 years. If you want to be the man, be the man. There are men that will get on your program, ladies. There are men that will say, whatever you want is fine. Whatever you want to do, no problem at all. But is that really the man that you want? And we've talked about this, in this feminist creation. And I'm not a scientist in that way, but they say it's about equality. But that wasn't equality. That was basically her making him bend the knee and kiss the ring and saying, you're a bad man and everything about you I have to break so that I can be better than you. I think it's just absolutely disgusting. I hope it's not real. What would you add, Lucy?
And the sad part is that the fact that he was a willing participant on her nonsense tells you everything. Even if he wasn't as emasculated, a normal standard man would say, no, I'm not going to be part of this nonsense. What are you talking about? And, he went along with it. So it means that he's been living with this woman for 5 years and she has emasculated him to that point. But of course, this is TikTok. So it could be that they're not even married. It could be two different people saying, let's do this nonsense and pretend that we're married because we want clicks on this video. And that's the sad thing about all of this social media. A lot of this stuff is unreal. It's unreal. It's fake, just to get numbers, to get subscribers, to get that just negativity that exists from these keyboard warriors. So it's so funny that he noticed that his beard had been straightened. That is so. I don't know if maybe that was a made up, like a fake beard, and he wanted to look masculine because of that beard. It was so odd, and it's just so sad that unfortunately a lot of the information that men are getting starting from school is letting them know that normal masculinity that they have is toxic. That is so scary.
That's true. We laugh, but Lucy brings up a great point. Discipled One says only wax figures can be more staged. Let's hope, fingers crossed, let's hope that this isn't real. But even if it isn't real, our concern, and Lucy and I are definitely, like we say, here for the younger women who are going to be passing this on, or maybe younger women or men in this case that might think this is normal. I am bad. That aggression that I was born with, is toxic. As a boy mom, I've heard it all, and I'm not a doctor in that way, but a lot of things that are normal boy behavior, teachers may want you to suppress. Girlfriends may tell you to medicate. I've heard it all, and I'm not doing that, and I never have. Again, do what you want to, but I think boys and men are so misunderstood. I think they do an incredible job of channeling that lion that is in them. And if we only knew, if they let loose, what real masculinity is capable of. So, hopefully this helps someone. Just take what you see on the internet with a grain of salt and find the men in your community that you actually have access to and ask them. Maybe show them these kind of videos and say, is this real? And listen to them if it doesn't, if you can't believe it from us. Bert says, if it's real, he's a weak back man. All right, let's go back in. Okay, is lagging? Okay, it seems to work for me. Y'all let me know. Hopefully everything is working well. We're going to continue on.
You're on the verge of tears because your masculinity has been so bad to me all these years. I mean, come on, this is pathetic. This isn't a real marriage. A real marriage is based on love and trust and apologies that are very sincere and real.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
It's not about creating content to put on Instagram where you humiliate one of the partners in the relationship. This is maybe for both of them narcissistic behavior where they both need the internet's validation for having a dysfunctional relationship. I'm sorry, but this is not the way to behave. Next one.
I'm gonna need you to repeat that. What did you just say?
I'm in the kitchen where I belong.
Yes.
This is the husband's way of showing that he's subservient to his wife by wearing leopard print glasses and taking her, I guess, abuse. This is an absolute upside down way of looking the relationships, I mean, I thought feminism was all about all jobs being equal, but apparently it is not, because the minute that the husband is doing the dishes, he has to view it as being something that he deserves as a punishment or something, and she has to make a video mocking him for doing it. Very strange. I rate this 1 out of 10 on feminism. Marriage reality. Uh-oh. Lord have mercy.
Okay, we're going to wait for Lucy to come back. She just hopped out of the stream and she's going to come right back. But I'll go ahead and give you all my thoughts. That one actually makes me really sad. So you saw in the video a man and he's washing the dishes. Is there anything wrong with a man washing the dishes? No. But his comment was, I'm in the kitchen where I belong. And you hear his wife not only agreeing with him, but laughing at him. Not only laughing at him, but recording him. Not only recording him, but posting it on the internet for the world to see with the caption, when your husband is feminist AF, as French toast. And I have seen, not this particular video, but young ladies especially, I have seen these TikToks where women are making fun of their husbands for the sake of the internet, for the sake of a good laugh, for the sake of just doing, maybe it's for the clicks, maybe it's for the views, I don't know. But I think it's really dangerous because whatever you do in private, ladies, again, whatever little inside jokes you have, that's fine. Keep it to yourself. But there seems to be this thing where it's not enough that women are feminists. And if you want to be, that's fine. Make your own life. But it's like we have to convince men to see it our way too. And be careful with that. It's a double-edged sword. We throw around this word patriarchy, we throw this around. And, for those of us who do love keeping a home and who do love, providing meals and doing things that are nurturing, I don't see it as subservient. And if you don't believe me, ladies, listen to the men that you admire and respect that are married. Listen to how they talk about their wives. Listen to how heroic they make them sound, the magic that we can work, in a home or with family or whatever. It's something that they are almost in awe of. And it's a shame that it's women who are saying that housework is subservient work. I have never heard a man say that housework is subservient. So what would you add, Lucy?
Well, and the saddest part is that level of disrespect that I don't see myself ever doing with any of my, male people that I love. My dad, my husband, my brother, my brothers-in-law. And that goes to show you that modern women have lost respect for men, that they will do whatever they feel like, and they will make ridicule them in front of the world for what's the intention? To get more followers? So it's so sad.
I couldn't agree more. And you look and sound great. So hopefully it's working for you.
Good.
Discipled One says the goal of feminism is control and nothing else. Ladies, I'm going to tell you something. I had a conversation with one of our biggest sponsors, and he said something that I have been chewing on for a while, and I never really understood it. But you know how we say, and this is one of the things that we teach the ladies, and speaking of teaching the ladies, Lucy and I do have a class coming up. It is Wife Archetypes, which my man has said is our best class. It is our advanced class. Married women are welcome to take it. Single, engaged, old, young, it doesn't matter. But if you really want to know what men expect, the kind of men that we all want, masculine men, if you really want to know what they expect, we ran this curriculum by them. And I've been wondering, why is it that men think about generations to come? One of our sponsors is saying that men think about the future long after they're gone and their children's children. I told this one class that I taught, we have jewelry stores and law firms that are such and such and sons, such and such and sons. We don't have that for women. Our wiring is we're really good in the moment, ladies. We can make things beautiful. We can take ingredients and make a meal. We can take a house and make a home. We can do wonders. And there is a little bit of a selfish nature that we have because we want to make our environment the best. That is just who we are. But when I asked him, I said, why is it that men think about the future and we women think about right now? And he said, because if it weren't for men thinking about the future, none of us would be here. If you think about all the way to the ancestors, right? Wherever you come from, if men were going to just light a match and watch it burn and just blow it all up, it would have been destroyed a long time ago. But because men know if left to them, we all end. So that's why they protect the women that are wives and mothers, because we need each other for us to even exist. And I know it's a little bit, analytical to think about it sometimes, but these are the things that I think about. And it's like, you know what? It's so true. If we women had our way, if we were in control and men were subservient, if we disrespected men, if we didn't appreciate them, if we just said, you know what, we're going to do whatever we want to do whenever we want to do it, because we are hardwired for right now, we would have a very comfortable present. Y'all would be, traveling and living and shopping and doing all those things right now. But 100 years from now, what would the world look like? 50 years from now, what would the world look like? So just be very careful, ladies. These women that are making these jokes and just, it's not funny. It's not funny. We all need each other. So anyway, a little rant on that. We're going to go back in to the video. Let's see. The Condemned says this is pure emasculation. Men being ridiculed is unfortunately commonplace in this society. Yes. And ladies, I hate to tell it to you, but it's true. This only works on a certain caliber of men. The men that you want, they're not going to laugh at this. You're going to get one time in a row and he's going to be like, all right, I'm going to help you mean what you say. So be very careful. And this is why I tell ladies, you pick up these bad habits and you think it's funny, and then you're going to try it on the wrong one, see what happens. And Discipled One says men are hardwired ultimately for one purpose: legacy. You heard it here. All right, let's go back in.
This is the one that's the most painful to watch. Like, it genuinely makes me sad, because if you have a family, you know that the wife is the heart of the family. She is the center of everyone's affection. Everyone loves her. She's the best. And this woman has taken all of that affection and basically said that she doesn't want it, and that she would rather be living a lifestyle where people treated her like trash rather than treating her like they're the center of the world. It's a strange one. I honestly feel bad for this person. They have something wrong with them. In the garden of life, don't be a hoe.
I got a vasectomy.
All right, we've gone from bad to worse. I'm going to read the screen to you all. I don't know if you could see this. So we have this woman who looks like she's in a beautiful home, looking outside the window. So again, talking out the side of her neck from her place of comfort. She is not outside in the cold. She is inside in a beautiful home, holding an infant, a newborn maybe about 6 months old. The caption says, when the kids are fighting nonstop, there's toys everywhere, the TV is loud as French toast, a dog is barking, husband is sneezing / breathing all over, and you miss being a garden tool. I don't even know how to respond to that. How disrespectful. How many women would instantly trade places with her for a house filled with love and laughter and children? And the fact that your husband, who is probably providing this life for you so you can be at home with your infant, he is guilty of breathing all over the place. So he cannot breathe in a way that disturbs you. How dare you? How disrespectful. I cannot imagine. And again, maybe they have some type of weird humor. It's not funny to me. But again, the fact that you would record yourself, make this caption, and post it for the world to see, holding a baby. So if there's kids running all over the place, you're a mom of several. And you say you would rather be an HOE. You miss being an HOE for this wonderful, comfortable life that you have. I wish, like the late great Kevin Samuels, I could snap my fingers, right? He used to do that. What is the name? The Marvel name?
Thanos.
The Thanos snap. Clearly, I don't know. And imagine if she was on the outside of that window in the streets, looking at a suburban mom in her comfortable life. I wonder if the HOE wouldn't trade places with this woman. I hope we don't get away with anything, ladies. And I hope she's a mother. And so I'm choosing my words carefully, but I hope she feels the consequences of these actions. That is completely irresponsible. What would you say, Lucy?
Yeah, and my question is the husband looking at what she's editing and doing for TikTok? I'm wondering how the husband would see that. And if he's okay with that, then, we have a bigger problem. He's already probably given up on her. But it's so sad because, I never had kids. So one of the things that I can just imagine, I talk to my husband sometimes, wouldn't it be nice to have a little, Mr. Lucy and, a little Lucy running around and the dogs snoring, fighting, all of that stuff in the house, because that's what gives life to a home. And, and she's complaining while living and it looks like a really nice home. The weather looks perfect. She's out there holding the baby and, you know, a perfect little creature with her, and she's still complaining. And again, I think that the happy wife said that we women, we will never be happy. Never. So again, there are a certain a group of women that will burn the house down and still not take accountability that, you know, they are the culprit of, you know, their horrible lives.
Just completely ungrateful. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Discipled One says, Maggie, why would the caption say that? Above all else, she hates accountability. Yeah, just crazy. Samuel says, I'm a man. I'm very sick right now, and I demand sympathy from the women. Just kidding. Sort of. How are y'all doing? Neo Moses says, some women stay stuck in their past, making poor choices that ruin their chances for a better future. I have really come to that realization, ladies. I have to say, I naively thought everybody would do well if just given the opportunity, because I'm gonna tell the truth, ladies, some of y'all come with your sob story first, and you really know how to get people, or maybe the naive ones, get people to believe, you didn't have any opportunities. Nobody told you, you had bad friends in your ear, or my mother didn't do this, or all these things. But every day, one of the things about life is that every day we have an opportunity to choose right or wrong, to choose relationship or being single, to choose family or just career. And again, I will always say, doesn't make you a bad person, but your stories run out after a certain time, because you come with that. And, I'm not a man, but this is why, ladies, men take time to vet. This is why they wait for consistency. And I don't know these people, and I don't even know if it's real. Again, this is TikTok, but I like to see what we can learn from it. If this woman was running the streets and ended up finding a man that was willing to marry her, sit her down, and give her a family, and she's reminiscing of the days when she was an HOE, I really feel sorry for the husband and the children, because instead of being present in the moment, like Lucy said, with those moments that make family and everything come alive. Yes, there's a little bit of a mess. Yes, there's shoes somewhere, and everything is not perfect, but that's not what we remember. And I'm really sad for the husband and the children. Oh, goodness. All right, let's go back in.
At 20 years old. Hi, I'm Tristan. I'm 21 and I got a vasectomy. This decision is ridiculous, but I have my reasonings and I stand by them completely. And here they are. Coming in at number 1, I already have a kid. Kind of ridiculous to already have one kid at 21. Arguably irresponsible.
I think it makes a point twice in the video so far, which is that this is ridiculous. So the idea of being 20 years old and having produced one offspring is absolutely ridiculous. There is no time in human history where a man would have held this up as a standard of accomplishment in life. Like he said, he is not man enough to handle having more children. He has essentially, for all intents and purposes, removed the ability for him to be a man. Part of being a man is being fruitful and multiplying and filling the earth. And if you can't reproduce as a man, sometimes that happens out of people's control. But to voluntarily undergo that because you can't hack the responsibilities of manhood, at 21 years old, I have a feeling that in 3 or 4 years, he's going to look back on this and realize just how childish and silly it is. Dude. 10,000.
Okay, now this one is a little controversial. I would love to know what the men think about this one. So I am not of the Catholic faith. I understand, and please correct me, that in the Catholic faith, they don't promote forms of family planning. Everything is just supposed to be natural. Okay. And I understand and I respect that. However, I have heard that there is a new technology or a new, how do you say, procedure where men can have a vasectomy and it can be reversed, almost like a male form of birth control. I am not a doctor. I don't know. So I want to hear this from the men. I have heard from my men and others who encourage young men for various reasons to protect themselves, because not all women have good intentions. And we see this time and time again with athletes and others, where sometimes older women will prey on younger men and then surprise. It takes two to tango. Do what you want to do. So I don't know if this was a permanent thing for him or if this was a, temporary decision. I can see it both ways. Ideally, you get married and you have as many children as you want to. That's, a big, beautiful blessing. The fact that he's already a father at 21, I can see I can see why he would want to stop what has already started. But Lucy, I would love to know what you have to say about this one.
I don't know. I think that's hopefully it's one of those that you can reverse. If it's not reversible, I think that he made a permanent decision for something that, for a mistake that happened by just being young and not taking the correct precaution, and being with someone that was willing to not take precaution. And, what is it they call him? Baby trap him. So unfortunately, there's a lot happening with that nowadays. So I think that it's important to train our children, especially our boys, let them know that, even though they might think that they're dealing with a really good woman, we have our ways. And, sometimes we want what we want, however it is, and we will take chances just because that's what works for us right now, not thinking about the future. So he didn't mention anything about having a mom. So maybe he's that has full custody of the child. And, it's hard to say, but I think that making such drastic decision is, I don't know. I don't think it was the right decision.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear what the men are saying in the chat. And this reminds me of something I saw, and I don't really talk about people, but in this example, you all know Jeannie Mai, whatever happened with her relationship. But I watched something once where she said she wanted is it hysterectomy? She wanted to have everything done in her early 20s because she was one of these, I don't want kids. She was, boss babe, whatever. And her doctor refused because she was too young. And fast forward now, she's a mother, so proud. The baby is the love of her life, all over, the internet. And my point is, and she can do whatever she wants to, but my fear is that impressionable young people will say, yeah, absolutely, don't have kids, and go, snip and burn and laser and do all that stuff. And if you don't have any other perspective, you may think you're reducing the population or whatever reason people have. Do whatever you want to do. But I have a little bit of disdain for, especially celebrities or people who kind of say things and do things carelessly, because our words matter. And just because you met a man in your 40s and got married and then you got pregnant, who knows how difficult or easy it was for you. I fear that young people may be making permanent decisions. And so, yeah, I agree. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. Disciple One says, Maggie, no one is perfect, but you don't need to be in Tiananmen Square to see a red flag. Yeah, I understand. Bert says, I think it's ridiculous he had a vasectomy that young. Just use protection. And again, I know there are, religious and medical and all kinds of things. It's not about that. You all know, I always say, I'm not going to fight you here. Do what is best for you. But I guess I'll just land on, I see it both ways. But if he did something permanent, the 40-year-old version of him, if he no longer has the option to have a family, that's, yeah. All right, let's go back in.
$1,000? Wow, dude.
Dear.
It's like it's like a bunch of big babies in the pool together. They're all so sad. My brain cannot even begin to fathom having the money and spending it. If they paid me $10,000 to go and cry in a pool with a bunch of other men,
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I would 100% have to turn that down. This is absurdist behavior. This is the end of the world, the end of society behavior, where like people have completely lost any depth, meaning, sense of suffering, manhood, anything, to where they all want to jump in a kiddie pool together, crowd together, lay on their backs, and have another man hold them like they're their mom, and then weep and wail while staring at the sky. I mean, this is existential crisis 10 out of 10.
Sorry if I'm masculine.
OMG. Let me see if I can go back and read the caption. That one was just really disturbing. Okay. These men spent $10,000 each to attend a masculinity retreat to become more manly. Please tell me this is not real. The men float around hugging each other while crying in an effort to become alpha male. This is a prank. I refuse to believe it. This is not real. This just can't be real. I refuse to believe it. None of the men that I admire or respect would take that seriously at all. If you have money, if you got disposable income, do what you want to with it. But the whole time I'm watching this priest react, and again, I'm not of the Catholic faith, but I understand, or I believe, that priests do not marry. They do not have a family of their own. They take a vow of restraining themselves to honor God. But I cannot deny how much more masculine this priest is, who is taking a vow to honor God. He is so much more masculine than most of the men in these clips, in these retreats, crying on the bathroom floor, locking knees with their wife, allowing themselves to be ridiculed while washing dishes, and in a pool with other men crying at a masculinity retreat. None of that makes you a man. I see 100 times more man in the priest. What would you add, Lucy?
The priest's laugh was amazing. It was hilarious. And I think that there's one clause in the Catholic religion about priests. We can have priests that are married if they come from a different religious, like Protestant or whatever religious branch, and they become Catholic. So they can be married, but it's got to be, they come into priesthood already married. They can't, once they take priesthood, they, if they're single, they cannot have a wife, because they give their life to religion and being priests and all that fun stuff. But it's really interesting to see. For me, the way I see it, it's this retreat, $10,000 retreat, that's an excuse for these sexually confused men. I mean, I'm telling you, a normal standard man will not be laying in a pool with other men, holding them like that and touching them like that. Men are not, they don't like the touch like that. Not from a man. From women is different. I mean, I can tell you that if a man had 10 women holding him, sign me up. But in this case, I don't think that would, no, a regular man with regular T cells, okay, not with low testosterone, I don't think they would put themselves in that situation of being in a pool with other men, crying, holding each other, sharing their feelings. I mean, that's really weird.
It's absolutely weird. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Discipled One says, ladies, if you want to see what a sympodemic event looks like. And Discipled One says, Lucy is not lying. Sexually confused. Yeah, she hit the nail on the head. Thank you so much for being here. Mommy, what's for dinner? And Bert agrees. You're right, Lucy. Ladies, here's the thing. Don't let the feminists tell you what masculinity is. This is a huge thing. You always hear me censor myself because I say, I don't believe I have a place to speak. 2 men, 4 men, whatever. I listen to the men that I admire, respect, and tell you all what they say. I'm just a boy mom. But I think this whole redefinition of what masculinity is really dangerous. Lucy is right. Men do not openly, cry and talk about their feelings and howl at the moon. Men go inwards. They think and they process things in solitude. Again, look at the world around you. We teach awareness in the finishing school. Don't just walk around like, yeah, I'm here. If a man bumps into another man on the street, immediately they put that distance between them. Sometimes when they're playing, like, get off me, dog. Like, that's how they are. Men do not interlace limbs and soothe each other in a pool wearing their skivvies. Let's go back here, y'all.
Offering manhood, anything, to where they all want to jump in a kiddie pool together, crowd together, lay on their backs, and have another man hold them like they're their mom, and then weep and wail while staring at the sky. I mean, this is existential crisis 10 out of 10.
Sorry if I'm masculine, but I've been forced to be masculine. When I was married, or when I was in my past relationships, and a man didn't wear the pants, I had to take off my skirt and put the pants in the relationship. If a man can't show up and can't be a man and an alpha, then guess what? A woman has to be that alpha.
Yeah, so a couple of things that hit you right off the bat. Number one is she's dressed like a man. So the irony that she is actually wearing pants and a collared shirt and is dressed like a man is not by accident. Right? That is her energy. She says also that she's been in relationships and married to betas. So this is a routine relationship that she has engaged in, finding weak men so that she's able to play the role of alpha. She blames it on the men, ironically, but you don't hear her saying, I have sought out strong men. What we find in society today is this kind of constant tragedy, which is women want strong men theoretically, but they end up choosing really weak men. And as we saw in the video earlier, the men who seek after getting vasectomies, who don't want children, don't want responsibility, want to hold on to their boyhood, want to just play around in life. This is kind of the downfall of Western civilization right now, because everything in civilization is built on the family unit. And if husbands and wives can't create godly children, all of society will collapse. But they can't produce godly children if they don't have a godly marriage. And so you need strong men who want to be leaders, want to have children, and want to provide for their family. And we simply don't have that today. What we've learned today from emasculated men is that their tears are going to cause a second great flood and drown all of society, and everyone will die. God bless you.
Everyone will die. God bless you. Well, over here, we like to deliver a softer approach, but hopefully you all were able to learn something from the priest today, which again was the most masculine man in all of those TikToks. All right. So I love how he called out this masculine woman, so much in that. So you all saw, and I've had to do some work in this space, but her whole, like he said, energy, but her body language, the way she was sitting there, she was wearing what she was wearing, but she had her legs crossed like a man. And the way she was talking, if you're not an alpha, then I got to take my skirt off and be the man. Ladies, that is a lie. this whole conditional femininity is not a real thing. I was talking to someone today. You have to choose, and if you are genuinely feminine, you are feminine at all times. All right. Yes, sometimes we work in masculine environments, or, we all have a little bit. Sometimes you got to turn it up a little bit, but I cannot imagine a time when I would say I have to be the man. I can't be a man. There's no way. And what he said is that a lot of women who complain about having to be the man, or saying, well, you didn't do it, so I had to. We intentionally chose weak men, and we're actually mad at ourselves because we put ourselves in a relationship with a man who wasn't the masculine man that we really wanted when times were tough. But here's the thing, ladies. A masculine man is going to require femininity, and a masculine man is not going to put up with you barking orders and acting like you can switch, because he knows when it really hits the fan, circling back to that first woman who said, we should provide and we should take care of the men. A masculine man is going to require something of you. And a lot of women know they are not up to standard. So they choose the men that let them get away with that bad behavior. And then you end up resenting yourself and blaming it on the man. So those of you who are saying, well, I had to be the man. No, you don't. You can still be feminine, even in difficult situations. So ask yourself if you are seeking out the men that will hold you to a certain standard because their masculinity requires it. What would you add, Lucy?
Yes, and it could also be that those are the only men that she could end up with, because the manly man would say, I'm not going to take this. The first date, if she started acting out like a masculine person, they wouldn't want that. They would just say, yeah, it was a good time, bye. So again, men are like that. They see, immediately they see the behavior, and that's probably the reason that she ended up with those men where she says that she had to be the one to put her pants on. So, I mean, yeah, I guarantee you that if she started trying to tell a masculine man how to live his life, he said, peace, I don't want to be with you. This is not what I want. I want to be with a woman that will get, and, hitch on my wagon and, live happily ever after, man and woman together, not man and man.
Absolutely to that. And, ladies, we always give you our perspective. You can do whatever you want to do. But Lucy brings up a good point about maybe she couldn't get the man that she wanted. And I was talking to someone today who tried to lump in all men to, well, aren't all of them narcissists? Aren't all? And besides the fact that that's statistically impossible, a lot of times we hear this with women who complain about the men that they have. You don't see the men that you want because they have already seen you. And like Lucy said, with these men, the men that we admire and respect, if they even have to tell you, it's already a problem because they've been observing and watching it. They care, so they say something. And if you blow them off and you're just kind of like, well, this is just who I am or what I am or how I've always been, this is what's always worked, they will leave you right there to figure it out. So a lot of times, ladies, you don't get very far at all. You may have one date or one conversation, and men can sense that because you don't show up as a woman who would be cared for and protected. You show up as somebody who is like a challenge to him. And a man doesn't want to come home to that and deal with that. So again, hopefully this was helpful for you all. Hopefully you learned something. I hope that these were all skits and they weren't real. My heart tells me maybe some of them were. But young ladies especially, don't let the feminist position from their place of comfort confuse you as to who we are designed to be, who I think is the best version of ourselves. And the only way you are going to be successful in relationship with a masculine man is with femininity. What would you say to close this out, Lucy?
I love that we are seeing the responses from every uh, type of religion. We've seen the Jewish, we've seen Catholic. I think, what else have we seen? I don't know if we've seen Muslim yet, but that's it's good to see how, in general, we kind of agree on a lot of this stuff. So I think that for me, I like the patriarchy because they keep us, they keep us from creating more chaos than what we can be, because we are chaotic by nature. So anyway, this was a great illustration of some of the nonsense that we see on TikTok, and hopefully most of those were just to get followers and not the real thing. I don't think the man in that pool, I don't think they were, it was a skit. I think it was a real thing, and that's just, yeah.
Yeah, Samuel had his comments about that. Bert says, I don't want a manly woman. He says, preach, Maggie. And Discipled One says, the first thing a masculine man requires is accountability. And it's so true, ladies, because they have been held accountable to get to where they are. Nobody has given them anything. So they're not going to let you skate by with it. So yes, and actually we did. There was one video, Lucy, we did a reaction to, where I believe there was a Muslim man who was talking about appreciation. He will give his family and his kids everything, and all he wanted from his wife was the appreciation. Yes. So yes, we are here to show how much more we are alike than we are different. And ladies, men across the globe, and I'm going to leave y'all with this. All of this flies in the Western world. Did you notice that all of these women pulling these stunts, I'm going to assume they're American or West, North American. You don't see this type of foolishness in other places of in the world, because the men would not have it. And Lucy is right. I say I have a ring of fire, and I love my ring of fire. It is warm, it is safe, it is toasty, but it comes with boundaries and guardrails. And so that is what masculine men require. So ask yourself, ladies, before you encounter him, are you the type of woman that will actually have a shot of having that kind of man? Or are you better off with someone who's going to do what you say? So that's it for us. We are here twice a week for you all. We will be back on Saturday with another. Discipled One comes in with the $5 saying, love you both, Lucy and Maggie. Keep preaching. Thank you so much for the support. Again, ladies, we have our last class for a while coming up this Saturday, because we've got the Maggie Lou meetup in April. We've got the finishing school graduation, and then, a lot of good things happening. So go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com, and there's a coupon code. You can use WIFE for $50 off, and we'll mail out your workbooks to you. So with that, we will say adios.